The Cultural Forest. This project aims to create a space for local community which provides room for cultural production in a developing neighborhood that shows evidence of economic pressures on local musicians and artists. It directly challenges the common unsustainable materials used for construction and integrates a circular economy strategy for materials used. The project shows the potential of planting trees through imagining an urban forest that looks to retain the memory of existing structures, but also establish the future experience of the site for several generations to come. The project began with a memory of a walk from my home to a local woodland. I remember the sunlight spearing through the dense alder trees. This memory transcribed itself into my experience on the project site, Oficina do Ferro, located in Bonfim, Porto. The derelict Ford factory situated at the bottom of the site has started to be taken over by plants and shrubbery, showing the time of nature's growth. The urban strategy of this project looked to connect the city to the lost urban void through green spaces. Also, the increase in economic pressures of the neighborhood sees affordable rent spaces for local artists and musicians becoming fewer. The landscape is extended through the site, which draws on its history of being an olive farm. The re-establishment of indigenous trees such as maritime pine and oak would increase the biodiversity by attracting animals and birds. The forest would be cultivated through removing the existing concrete slab and replacing it with soil. This responds directly to typical planting of urban trees in the city, which are being suffocated by a crust of concrete or tarmac. As the forest matures over time, with longer growing trees forming large canopies, the experience and activities of the site change. Initially, visitors can engage in cultural production and utilize the public viewing platforms, whereas by the year 2100, the mature forest would have taken over, and the chimes of birds would ring alongside an informal concert of traditional fado music. The development of the forest would be seen through the eyes of several generations. A circular economy is integrated where locally sourced granite and pine alongside loam excavated from the site would be reused in the future at other sites when the forest takes over. Further, existing materials on sites such as roof tiles can be crushed and turned into lime renders, bringing new life to forgotten materials. The structural strategy looks to materials from nature. The tower stands using a granite and stone core and rammed earth skin, providing good thermal properties. The construction phasing of the tower uses a demountable steel scaffolding structure, which acts as a platform to form the rammed earth walls. The public viewing platforms give views over the Douro River, across the historic centre of Porto, and a walk through the canopies of the forest. The platforms are also a space that encourages public engagement with musicians through informal mini-performances, or perhaps painting workshops with the artists housed in the tower, thus creating a connection to the public through activity. The tower itself stands 5 stories tall and rises gracefully and non-invasively above the forest below. It offers adaptable music and artist studios in a neighborhood in which increasing rent prices are driving local people out of the area. The tower invites local communities and tourists to engage and surround themselves in nature. The public facade would be inhabited with different experiences over time as the forest grows and eventually takes over. Thus, the memory of the site remains and different experiences are created for several generations in the future.